Here we go. Welcome back to Is It Wrong to Talk About Girls in a Dungeon? Anime Review, episode number 57. We are here reviewing the 70, I believe this is 73. Yeah, 73rd episode series, Revenge. And oh boy, I was looking at basically like how much is out there from this book. Like, it starts from page 240. And it pretty much went to page 326. So almost 100 pages adapted for this one episode. There's a lot of stuff happening in this episode, because this is the episode Big Counterattack. So we have various people joining the Allied side. Well, basically we do start off with basically Holden, that's his name, Hereford is the air elf. Holden basically turning his own forces. And then he kept like, oh, friendly fire. And of course, Bell predicted that this might happen because he has his own agenda. So, and because of that, the Tavern Girls basically all stepped in. Mamma Mia herself stepped into the freaking battle, joining up with Bell, who's getting the crap beat out of him by Oder. Ryu shows up and heals him. And when of course everybody sees like, oh, and by the way, apparently her nickname was Demi Ymir. That was her nickname. And like, oh, you got him weak. Yeah, but still, you got him weak. It's a big, awesome battle. And in the case of Bell, after finishing getting healed by Ryu, basically, she's like, what are you going to do with Sorry Caesar? Like, I'm going to slap Sensor. And he's like, he's going to talk to her about, well, what he said to her. And then, of course, then she's like, Bell, one more thing. She's in love with it. Basically, she confessed her feelings for him. They actually added this in because the book did not show this at all. There's no mention of the fact this happened. The enemy has, as soon as she confesses, Bell's face turns bright red, like, oh my gosh. Which makes Ryu probably the third girl in the series behind Hestia to confess her feelings for him. And then he just cools off and basically continues to fight. Meanwhile, though, the Tavern Girls, who helps out everybody else, well, one of them, who is Alan's sister, she proceeds to chant a spell which basically debuffs everybody's stats, including Lily's. Lily has to join the fray. Transfigures is one of the four triplets, the quadruplets, the four siblings, and she is stabbed, but she survives. It goes to the Fox Girl. She gets everybody basically a status boost. And I want to also mention that Ryu, she may have boosted to level 6. May have. And Hestia is briefly seen in the episode where she and one of the other gods who actually was not captured, basically like, oh, we need you on the front lines. By the way, in case you're wondering, how in the world who convinced basically the Tavern Girls and Mamma Mia to switch sides? They do reveal that all the Tavern Girls actually work for separate guilds who are allied with basically the Hest of Milia. Mamma Mia was the only technically part of the Fray of Milia. And apparently this was all Loki's doing. Yeah, she did this. She talked to Mamma Mia, proceeded to kidnap the cat girl from her bed, because this was left from a previous scene where she did Big Bed. Of course, basically it's actually Bertie proceeds to kidnap her. She scratches his face and basically forces her to take her to the real sire. Not Freya posing as sire. This is the actual one. And then the other Tavern Girls and Mamma Mia basically brought here. And this convinces them to basically join the fray. And one of the girls gives Aisha basically one of these special cat earrings to hold basically from the big meow basically she does, which is very loud. And it bumps everybody. It is amazing. And of course there's a smoke screen. As there's a Lily stab, and then basically if it gives everybody a status boost, and they proceed to beat the four siblings really easily. In this amazing sequence that takes up 8 minutes of the episode. I'm like, oh my gosh. damn. And of course, Freya is not happy with the fact that Wonder Man basically betrayed her. She's not happy with that at all. Alan proceeds to go confront basically his sister about this. And of course, basically, Brett basically is still there with a scratch on his face, which is so funny. And Loki proceeds to join the gallery. And everything is basically like gearing toward the very end. Well, we are at the third to last episode of the season. And like I said, when I was rereading this, I was like, wow, how much stuff is covered here? Because I was reading, it's like, oh my gosh, this is covered in this episode. Okay, if you're curious, how much of this book was covered for this one single episode? If you're curious, how much was covered? The answer is that much. You're like, wow, that's a little more than the last episode. That's the true. And in case you're curious, like, how much is left of the book? If you're curious, and it's this much left. This much. Yeah, this much left to go. Roughly, like 110 pages left. And there's only 2 episodes left for the entire season. I have this theory that it'll finish out in this book and probably adapt the prologue of book 19. Yeah, probably the prologue dealing with the aftermath of this. That probably adapted. No, not next week. Probably for the final episode. They probably do that. Like 110, like basically 110, 111 pages. That's how much. That's how much they'll cover. Which that's basically enough for 2 episodes, possibly. So that is my theory that this book finished up by the final episode. That's definite, and they will start book 19, but it will not be full adaptation. No. If there is a season 6, the only thing they can do, because the current arc is, even though it's over, but it's probably not enough for another season. So, excuse me. Here's what I suggest they do. I would suggest adapting the rest of book 15, because they did have one full story and one half of a story. I was just covering the rest of that and have basically be set before as like a flashback. Adapt that plus the rest of book 8, because book 8 they only adapt like part of the book for 2 episodes. I would suggest they do that for the next season. Cover those rest of it wasn't covered yet. Plus, you could maybe do book 19 later on. I mean, you do want. I'm sure a lot of people do want to see a full adaptation of the entire light novel series. And it was originally announced the next arc for this series, the light novel series, will be officially the last one, because from what I read the synopsis for the very next book, it looks like possibly that the arc going right now may wrap up after only 2 books, presumably. And the news we got this season was because apparently it's by the time this came out, it had been like 10 years since book 1 came out. 10 years. That's what we got in our season. Yep. But yeah, that's particular review. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do not hit that dislike button. Next up, basically, is going to be, I thought it was going to be Case Close, but I really want to get done one of the anime came out today, so I'm going to do Red Ranger's Adventure in the world. Okay, next video. Bye.